Hello. Okay, so let's get right into tonight's video. I don't want to waste your time, so let me go ahead and get into my intro.
Hey boos, in this video, I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it.
Cause I'm a boss. I haven't done anything for you to be proud of.
Of course you have. You are marrying a man who can support you.
Okay. So over the weekend, I was minding my business, but I was on TikTok and there was this video that was going around about this woman who caught her husband cheating. Who caught her husband cheating. And she bumped into them at the Atlanta airport after she filed for divorce. So this was after she found him cheating and everything like that. So let's just go ahead and get into this because this story is crazy. And then the recent update is even crazier because I'm like, oh my gosh. So let me just go ahead and get into it. Thank you. Thank you for the compliments. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. That's so sweet. Okay. So this was the video that went viral and then she uploaded different parts. So we have to get into that first.
How you like that? You gonna like?
And I have to mute it because you know how YouTube is. But let me play it back. So this is them at the airport with him, the mistress. I have the audio, the original audio without the music. Let me go ahead and play that really quick.
How are you? Good to see you. Hope you have a good flight. I'll see you on the flight.
I'm not.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That is so sweet. Okay, so let's start with the airport video because that's how this whole situation started. Okay. And then we're going to get into the story. So this is where the story starts.
Hey, y'all. Well, it's story time in regards to that video I posted this morning of my husband and his mistress at the Atlanta airport. So let me just preface this by saying I'm a nice person. I'm a sweet person. I'll do anything for my family and my friends. And I'll help anybody out. Try to stay in my own lane. I try not to bother anyone to do any of that. But when people play in my face and plot and plan and do foul stuff, I'm not so nice anymore. And that's how most of us are. So let me start by saying on October 29th of 2022, my husband was scheduled to come home from a trip from Europe. He told me he'd been over there working and he worked a lot for his, his corporate job. I thought he was working anyway. Told me he had a speaking engagement in Europe. So I wanted to make sure that I had dinner and everything ready for him by the time he got home. So I called the airline. So I knew the flight number and I was driving. So I couldn't, type it in my computer because usually if you just type a flight number in, it'll just pop up what time the flight's going to land. So I had to call the airline that day. And when I asked the flight attendant, or not the flight attendant, I'm sorry, but the representative, what time the flight came in, he asked for my husband's name. And I was like, you don't need his name. I was like, just give me the flight information. If I typed it in, it's the flight information. You don't need his name. So he was adamant about me giving the name. So I gave him the name. He comes back a few minutes later and he says, Mr. Such and such and Miss what's her name landed 20 minutes ago. So I'm in shock because I've been married 25, 26 years and I'm thinking I'm just married to this outstanding, upstanding citizen. So I said, no, just his name. I don't know who that other person is, but just his name. And the guy states again, he was like, Mr. Such and such and Miss what's her name just landed a few minutes ago, like 20 minutes ago. So I'm sitting in the Kroger parking lot like, what does this mean? I'm in a state of shock actually. So my head is spinning by this time. My blood pressure's going up and I'm like, what does this mean? So I'm like, okay. So right after that, my husband calls And I was trying to hold it in, trying to hold what I was feeling in. So I was like, I'm not gonna say anything right now. I'm gonna wait till he gets to the house. Because he was like, oh, I missed you. It's been a long, long week. It's the hardest money I ever earned, but I wish you could have gone with me. And I was like, okay, well, you can tell me about your trip when you get home. So, okay, stand by y'all for the rest. So, okay, y'all. So when he comes home, I greet him at the door, give him a hug and a kiss and ask him about his trip while he's unpacking. And so I'm like, show me some pictures from your trip. And he was like, oh, I didn't take any pictures. I was running around working and we were just so busy and on the go. We were just, just going to and fro. So I was like, oh, okay. So we go to have dinner. I was like, hey, I called the airlines to see what time your flight was getting in. And I said, they told me there was someone else on your itinerary. And I tell him the person's name. And he was like, who was that? And I was like, I don't know. You tell me. He was like, oh, I don't know who that is. And he was like, he said, they must have made a mistake. So I was like, well, okay. So I went along with it, but something about it, my spirit just was not feeling right. So I was like, something about this is just not right. So that night when we go to bed, he's sleeping over there, just a snoring. I'm over there tossing and turning because I was like, something about this just does not feel right. So something tells me in the morning when you get up, go check your credit card bills that are on the counter. So the credit card bills are all stacked up out on our kitchen counter, and I don't open them because I don't pay the bill. I mean, it's the American Express bill each month, it'd be high. So I was like, I ain't got nothing on it, so no need for me to open them. But that was my account, and I added him to it years ago, and I just let him open it, open the bill and pay it. And there was sometimes I would open it, but most times I would just look at my portion of it and just keep it moving. So that morning when I get up, I go to church, and he tells me that he had to leave because he had to catch up on work and all that kind of stuff later on in the day. So I was like, okay. So I go to church, and when I come back from church, I get ready to go to the Falcon game. But something was like, check one of those credit card bills before you go. When I opened up that bill, the woman that the airline employee mentioned that was on his itinerary, her name was up and down my credit card bill. Flights here, flights there, flights to Paris, Delta vacations, a country here, an island there. So I'm thinking this was in 1 month. So I'm sitting there like, what in the world? So by this time, y'all, I'm steaming, and I got to go to this Falcon game with my girlfriends and try to act like I'm having a good time. But the whole time, my mind is racing. So I was like, okay. So I come home that night. I stack up all those bills. I got bills for like 8 months worth of bills. Actually, that was October. So 10 months. I pulled from December of 21 to October of 22. And when I tell you, it was very telling. This woman's name was on every one of my bills for each of those months several times. So while I thought he was out working and telling me that I couldn't travel with him because, he didn't want to get distracted. Oh, he had a travel mate. All right. He had one. Stand by for part 3. So I go through all these credit card bills, finds this girl's name for months on my credit card bills for the last 10 months specifically. So at that time I try to call his phone, call my husband's phone and text him. No answer, no text back. So I call his boy's house. He told me he was going to his boy's house to watch football. No answer from him. So I text him and was like, hey, is he with you? No answer back. Then all of a sudden here come my phone ring. It's my husband. Like, oh, I ran out to get something to eat. Like, what's up? And I was like, oh, you know what's up? I said, and I started repeating the girl's name. And he was like, why you keep saying that name? And I was like, I kept saying the name. So he was like, well, I don't understand why you keep calling the name. And I was like, oh yeah. I said, your gig is up. I was like, you nasty motherfucker. I was like, your gig is up. So he was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm on my way home. I was like, bring your ass on home. I was like, come home. Because by this time I'm furious. So I hang up the phone. I'm just like livid, y'all. I promise you. I think my blood pressure was on like 1,000 that day. So he comes in and he come in like all Billy Bad. Like, why you keep mentioning that name? And I was like, you tell me why I keep mentioning that name. So I was like, I'm going to ask you this. I said, I'm going to ask you one time. I said, no, I know the truth. I was like, was such and such on this flight with you? He was like, no, I don't know why you keep mentioning that name. I don't know who that is. I said, I'm going to ask you one more motherfucking time and know that I know the truth. Don't lie to me. And it was like this mask fell off of him. And he sat down in his chair and he was like, yeah, she was with me. And I was like, okay. I said, so that's your girlfriend? He was like, yeah. I said, well, how long you been with her? He said, a couple of years. And I was like, okay. So by this time, I can't hold it together. I mean, I think all I remember doing, I remember crying, and I had a really, really bad headache. And all he said to me was, this was what he says was really kind of like cut me. He was like he was relieved. He was like, at least I ain't got to lie no more. I'm sorry I hurt you, but at least I don't have to lie no more. So by this time, I'm like, say what now? So I'm screaming, I'm yelling. My son's upstairs. He comes down, goes back up. Because I was like, everything's fine. But my head is like hurting like really, really bad, guys. So I come back to my bathroom to try to get some medicine. So I was like, let me take my blood pressure. Blood pressure was like 190 over 110 or some crazy shit like that. So I was like, I got to get to a hospital. So stand by. So by this time, my head is banging. And I know I need to go to the hospital. I know something is wrong. So of course, I'm crying. I'm hysterical, trying to put my clothes on. He's trying to touch me and pet me up like, oh, I'm just so sorry that I made you feel this way. Now, didn't really have any compassion in his voice, any of that kind of stuff. So I was like, don't touch me. So I drive myself to the airport. He was like, I'll drive you. I was like, I said, I'll take my chances. I drive myself to the airport. I get there. Blood pressure is off the charts to the point they're like, ma'am, you're about to have a stroke. You got to calm down. And I really couldn't even talk. So they were like, you got to calm down. So they call my doctor. We get the medicine. They try to get it under control. So I'm there for a couple of hours. So I come home and he's sitting on the couch eating Cheetos. Like, ain't shit happened, right? And it comes in like, oh, what they say? And I was like, they said, they got my pressure, kind of down because it went all the way down. I said, go see a doctor in the morning. So that night I could not sleep. I cried all night long to the point when I got up that morning, I really couldn't even see. My eyes were so swollen. So I'm tore up, right? So I go out later that morning. He's upstairs. I come upstairs. I slept in another bedroom. He's around here like, you know, like like, you know, he having a good day and shit. Like, you know, his burdens is light. Mine heavy, but his is light. So I come up and then he's out in our family room and I was like, look, I said, I don't know. And I'm still in the state of confusion. So I was like, I don't know what happened last night. And I was like, I don't know what I've done wrong. Because by this time I'm blaming myself. I was like, you know, I know I'm getting older, you know, but I try to keep myself up. You know, I try to look nice, you know, do whatever I can as a wife. I was like, you know, I tried my best. So I don't even know what I could have done or what I can do. So I'm taking the blame. And he was like, oh, it's not you. Like, it's not you. So, but I'm like, no, like, it's gotta be me. He was like, no, he's like, you're a good wife. You know, you've been a really good wife. So I was like, well, I'll tell you what, I was like, I'm confused here. I said, so what we need to do, I was like, I think we need to sell the house. Let's move away, try to start over. You go to counseling. I go to counseling, we do some counseling and we start over. So he was kind of like real smug with it. Like, well, if that's what you want, like, yeah, we can do that. So I was like, well, what about her? Are you going to stop seeing her? So he paused for like 20 seconds and kind of tilted his head to the side. He was like, I ain't gonna tell you I'm gonna stop seeing her. And I was like, then you want a divorce? He was like, oh, I don't want a divorce. He was like, I ain't gonna let nobody fuck up my money. And I was blown away. Y'all, when he hit me with I don't want a divorce, but I'm gonna keep seeing her because I ain't gonna let nobody fuck up my money. Let me tell you something. That was definitely the wrong answer and told me everything I needed to know about him, about the marriage, and what I needed to do next. So for the next couple of days, I'm still in a state of confusion. And I remember once I found the girl's name, I went to Instagram, good old Instagram, go look there, you find anything. So I look up her name, I see her, and I'm really like feeling down. I'm like, oh my God, like she's beautiful. You know, he wants him someone younger, like I ain't all that, So I'm just tearing my ass up. So, my girls called later that day. My best friend called that morning and was checking in on me and I was trying to hide from her, but I couldn't. So I'm like in a ball of tears, tell her what's happened. She's in a state of shock. And usually she always got something to say, but she was left speechless. So she calls my other girlfriend. She calls. We all in a state of shock. Everybody's tore to pieces. So that day, after, I tell them what happened and everything, everybody, we just call it, we all were shocked. So the next day I go and meet with them because I see this girl on Instagram and I'm telling them about it. So they asked me to come out to have lunch with them, my two girlfriends. So, because they needed to tell me something. So, and I bring it up. I was like, when I see her pictures on Instagram, I was like, she's pretty. And they were like, girl, she ain't all that damn pretty. Like that's filters and plastic surgery and a whole bunch of other shit. Like, girl, it ain't even all that. And they were like, in Canada, like, we ain't trying to offend you. Y'all actually kind of favor each other. Like she may be the younger version of you. So I'm thinking like, I don't look like her. Like that girl's, pretty. Like it's I don't look like that. So in the interim, I was like, well, at least I said they don't have any pictures of themselves up on her Instagram. So they were, my girlfriends was like, that's why we needed to meet with you because they were like, there is a picture out there. So by this time, y'all, I'm devastated. So our food tries to come. We have Papa Do's. Food comes. I'm so distraught from tears. I'm looking a hot mess. Couldn't really even eat. And we went into how bad off I was. You bad off when you can't do this. We need to pray over our food. I couldn't even put my hands together to pray. I've never had that to happen. I couldn't even pray. I literally put my head down on the table while they were saying a prayer and cried. And basically they made me try to eat because I really could not eat anything. So
now I've been doing good this entire time. You did that on purpose. Now, who is she supposed to talk to in the middle of this crisis? Who is she supposed to talk to about this in the middle of this crisis? Okay, this woman can't even put her hands together to pray over her food.
So it was just a complete mess. So when I get home, my husband, he was actually gone. I think he was gone, but he claimed he had a trip or something. And then he tells me when he did come home, like, well, I need to talk to you because I think we need a little break. So he was like, you need a break so you can think about some things. And I was like, huh? Like, I need to think about some things. He was like, yeah, you need a break so you can think about some things. So yeah, to add insult to injury, he tells me he needs to go away for 3 to 6 months for me to think about some things and to think some things over. And I was like, I need to think some things over. I was like, I don't need to think about anything. He was like, yeah, I need to go away so you can think about some things. So I'm like, okay. And this is a straw that broke the camel's back when he said this. And I knew that this man actually had no love for me and that he had been planning for a long time. He was like, yeah, and if you find somebody in that 3 to 6 month time frame, I'll understand. Now, who tell their spouse that? If they really love you, they don't want you all sleeping with nobody else. Not if everybody normally, nobody sick or doing anything like that. So I knew then, I was like, I don't have but one other option. Divorce is the only option for me. And I tell you, I prayed about it, asked God about it. And when I tell you, he was sending me signs. If you listen, he will send you signs. And he sent me sign after sign after sign, y'all. So I did. I filed for divorce. And each day I've gotten stronger. And I think my husband thought that, I don't know what he thought about me or what kind of person I was, but because he knew how I felt about infidelity. And I always used to tell him, hey, if something ever happens, tell me on the front end. Because I'm gonna hurt one way or the other, on the front end, on the back end. Just let me know, but don't play me for no fool. So he thought he got boo-boo the fool over here. So I was like, okay. And from this girl that you saw in the video, yeah, she knew about me. He would have her at restaurants, hotels, games, had other women serving me my drinks, they feet under my table speaking to me, and he's sleeping with all these women. That is humiliating, y'all. So you know what? I was like, if you give me shit to taste, I'm gonna let you taste it back. So to the airport video, yeah, I was shocked. I was dismayed because that was my first time seeing them. I knew eventually that I would see them out somewhere. It's Atlanta, and hey, it's a small town. So it's a big town, but it's a small town too. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try my best to be classy and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes that just don't work. Because when you go in the gutter, when people go gutter with you, and I have to apologize to Michelle Obama, girl, when you said that, when they go low, we go high. That ain't my motto. Because when they go low, I go lower. I go gutter. I'm going gutter. I'm going to swim down with the rest with your ass. So I was like, okay, yeah. So she knew, and she was on Instagram sending all her little subliminal messages and all of that. Like, yeah, okay, I got you, girl. But y'all, when all this is over, I got a little story to tell about her and the rest of his story too. Our story. It's actually our story. This is my story to tell. So I'll share more with you all. But let me tell you something. It's a cautionary tale. If you all want to move on, just say you want to move on, y'all. Because if you fuck around, you definitely gonna find out. And just like him, my husband got the 1 and the 2. Be good. Y'all hear from me later. Bye. Hey, y'all.
Now, before we get into part 8, okay, I'm too crazy for stuff like this because I'm gonna have to go to jail. I am. Like, I'm gonna have to go and do jail time because what? It was just the way he was just so careless about it. Like, he didn't care at all. I would have lost it, y'all. I would have lost it. It would have been a left eye situation. I would have set the house on fire. And I guess we all just gonna have to go to hell together because we are not leaving here. 25 years. She cannot get that back. He could have said, you know what? This ain't working for me no more. This is it. We just gonna have to separate, go our separate ways. But no, he didn't do that. He didn't do that. I would have lost it. I don't think I would have been able to hold myself back from putting my hands on this man. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think it would have, I don't know. You know, I'm glad God don't be gifting me with these type of lessons and these trials and tribulations, because I don't think I would have been able to handle this. I don't think so. A pastor, that's the worst place you can go to is the church when it comes to infidelity, because you know they just gonna tell you to stay and forgive. That's it. I just don't think cheating is forgivable. I don't think cheating is forgivable. My whole motto is once a cheater, always a cheater. And then he didn't just cheat once, he was cheating. He's a cheater. That's why I say once a cheater, always a cheater. Because she was finding out about other women too, outside of the mistress that he had. You know? People easily give you their ass to kiss when they have your heart. Oh, girl, it's a mess. It's a mess. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he gonna be crying in that nursing home when he all alone. And now, and his money gone too, because she about to take him for everything that he got. I would. I mean, she got credit card statements with this woman's name on it. That's what her lawyer has for divorce court. Men are not smart. They are not that smart. I'm gonna tell you now, women are just better cheaters. Men are the worst cheaters I have ever seen in my life. Men are horrible at cheating. So you're telling me that you're not getting a divorce or whatever like that. You're not going to go through a divorce because you don't want to mess up your money, but you have credit card statements that go back years of this woman's name on the credit card statements. You're a dummy. Like, you're just not smart. Somebody need to tell this man he's not smart, but he is COO. That's hard to believe. That ain't smart at all. And he is COO at a financial, I don't know if it's some type of financial firm or something. I don't know. So that's a mess. So let's continue with this story. But it seemed like he's going to be broke soon.
After I posted that video of my husband and his mistress in the Atlanta airport, and I decided to share my story with you all, when I say that you all have shown an outpouring of love, support, kind words, prayers, just everything. And I just want to say how grateful I am, because that was very hard for me. And it's still hard for me. This was a journey that I wouldn't wish on anyone. This kind of betrayal and the lies and the deception, no one deserves that, you know. And just reading some of you all's stories, it makes me sad to know that so many people are still going through this same thing, you know. And it's not even about, you know, everybody's going through it. Black, white, you know, it has no color line. And men are going through it too, with women who are doing the same thing. But, you know, I'm hoping that this will help someone know that they can share their story and not live in shame, thinking they can't say anything. and protect the other person. Those days are gone, y'all. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting me and loving on me during this time. So this is a love that I didn't even know I needed, but I needed it, guys. So, and for the ride out crew, y'all crack me up, getting ready to get y'all Air Force Ones or y'all stomping boots. But y'all, I'm too old for that. And I'll tell y'all this, I'm just being completely transparent. When I ran up on them in the airport, I never knew what I would do if I ever saw them together. And I didn't do anything because I'm older now and I can't fight. I really cannot fight. And I didn't want her to whip my ass. So I was like, I'm not doing that. So y'all, we're not going to fight. We're going to fight with our tongues and fight with the legal system. And since
Y'all, this is where Gail got me. This is when I was like, oh, Gail, I can fight for you, girl. Because I'm not a fighter. I'm not. But if you push me there, I will beat your ass. I'm one of them type of people, right? And I feel like Aquarius women, I feel like y'all understand me the most. Aquarius women. We're not fighters, but if you push us there, we start to see red, we black out. We don't even know what happened because that's the type, that's how we are. But I felt so bad. I'm like, Gail, you're not even a fighter. I'm like, they always want to mess over the ones that wouldn't do it. They don't never try the women that would go there with them. They always try the women that wouldn't go there with them. That's why you got to scare a man a little bit. Scare him just a little bit. Like scare him by saying things like, if you make me a baby mama, I'm going to make your life a living hell. You can trust and believe that shit. And then he going to think twice about not putting on a condom, not pulling out, telling you to, oh, stop taking your birth control, make me a baby mama, I'm gonna make your life a living hell. You gotta shake them a little bit. You gotta shake them up a little bit, scare their ass. You don't, that nice stuff, that's horrible. That's horrible. You really do. If you cheat on me, I'm gonna cut you. You know, you gotta, that's how you gotta talk to men. If you talk to them too damn nice, they gonna play in your face. They are. So when she started talking, I was like, this is why this man cheated, because he really think you a punk. That's why. So that's why he was out here cheating on y'all. I'm for real. You gotta scare him a little bit. You do. You gotta scare him a little bit. That nice stuff, that don't work. Like I know for a fact, my daddy is scared of my mom. He is scared of her. He is scared. He's scared of what she gonna do if he was to go out here and do something stupid. You know. So you gotta scare these men. If you don't scare them a little bit, they gonna think they can just do whatever. So and just be very upfront about it. Make me a baby mama will make your life a living hell. You know, and you can't say you didn't warn him. You can't say, oh, I didn't show you who I really was. No, you told him straight to his face. Can't be mad. Okay. So it's just, but this woman, I felt so bad. I was like, this is why he went out here and he was just so bold with it. And then girl, it gets worse. It does. Because the friends knew about the mistress this entire time. The friends knew about the mistress. Everybody, it's almost like everybody knew but her. That's what it's looking like. Oh, yes, prenups are mandatory. I feel like that prenup should just be a standard at this point. I agree 1,000%. Thank you for the super chat. I definitely agree. I do. Okay. But men, they don't never try this on crazy women. They always try it on the women that are so nice. It's sick.
As I'm still going through this process, according to my, trusted counsel, Rachel St. Fleur and Melanie Finley Thompson, I got to start thinking smarter, guys. So I couldn't, go off and do that. So I want to advise you guys too. Like sometimes we have to restrain. We do have to use self-restraint, guys. So I do appreciate you all, and to my super sleuth, when I tell you, y'all are better than the FBI, the CIA, Scooby-Doo, Perry Mason, y'all are on it. But yeah, we can lean back on some of that now. We'll get it handled, guys. But thank you for your support. And for you all who said I stayed, I did not. I know my worth. And as soon as I got more information after I initially found out on October 29th of 2022, there was so much more that came out between that time and when I filed. But I can't share that with you all right now because it is actually, the story gets crazier and crazier.
And wait a minute. She found out October 22, and it's on record that she filed like November something, like shortly after that, around November and stuff like that. And you know what's so crazy about this story? Because I was on TikTok and men were stitching, this whole thing, and they were saying things like, oh, she not leaving, she not going nowhere. What is up with these men really thinking you not leaving their ass? I just want to know. Why do men feel so comfortable saying that? I don't like that. And I feel like as women, we need to change that. Men shouldn't feel so comfortable saying things like, oh, she not leaving. Where are you getting that from? Where are you getting that from? I don't understand. It's like they feel like they can do whatever they want to do. And they know the woman is not going anywhere. And that's the main reason why they feel like they can intentionally disrespect you, knowing that you're not okay with X, Y, and Z. So I would like for women to also understand that, because they just too comfortable with saying, oh, she not going over. This is not the 1950s. This is not the 1960s. Women have resources. Women have places they can go. They can start over. I mean, it's like y'all act like this is the 50s or the 60s. Like women can't work. Like women can't start a business. Like women can't take your money and flip it and invest and do things with it to live a comfortable life. It's just very weird. Back in the day, I would be like, okay, like, no, she probably not going nowhere. But in 2024, if you're really saying that, it's like you feel like as a man, you have some type of control over her, and that's abuse. Just so you know, like you feel like you have some type of mental, psychological, or maybe even financial control over her to where you automatically make it known that she's not going anywhere, because you know you can further abuse her either emotionally, mentally, or financially to where she can't leave. That's very weird. That is very, very, very weird. I just and like I said, for you to say that, I feel like women need to turn the tables and actually leave. Yeah, that's what I think. Staying, this is just, I don't know. I just feel like you're going to experience further disrespect. That's why I say once a cheater, always a cheater. It's just best that you go ahead and leave. I mean, Cardi B is another example of that.
But can't share that with you all right now, but I will at some point, you know, and I just hope that it helps someone else know that you're not going crazy. You're not alone with the gaslighting and people making you feel like, you know, you're less than. You're not. So, you know, and for me, you know, for those who want to stay, that is your prerogative. I'll support you, but I'm not one of those you, me, and she kind of girls. You know, there's not gonna be no Eve and the Rough Riders on that one. No, it's either you and me. You know, I value the institution of marriage. I made a commitment to God. I made a commitment to him, and he just didn't stand up on his end. So, you know, it is what it is, guys. But I thank you all so much, and you'll be hearing from me soon. Hope y'all have a good one. Peace. Oh, I don't want a divorce. He was like, I ain't gonna let nobody fuck up my money.
Child, what? So, child, she goes to Instagram and she finds Sabrina. And this is Sabrina. And she is devastated because she sees Sabrina and she's like, oh my gosh, she's beautiful. She's younger. This is what my husband wanted. He doesn't want me because this is what he wants. So she said later that day, her friends called. She couldn't hide it. So she told her what was going on. They were both speechless. And then eventually some of her friends invited her out to dinner. I don't know why, but I feel like this is the dinner, right? So she said that she was telling them, y'all, she's so beautiful. And they was like, girl, she ain't that pretty. That's filters and surgery. She was like, no, she's really beautiful. She said, at least they don't have any pictures on Instagram. And her friend said, well, you know what? That's why we're here. We want to talk to you about that. She was devastated. Child, she said when they told her about this photo, because this is Harold. This is her husband or ex-husband or soon to be. She said they were at Papa Do's and the food had come out. She said she was so distraught. She couldn't even put her hands together to pray. She said while they were praying over the food, all she could do was hold her head down and cry. Because now, not only does she know that.
Ladies, and you can't say I'm not being fair, but ladies, men are the dumbest cheaters. I feel like they're just not smart, because I've seen so many women sit in passenger princess, no face. All we see is this man's car. We don't see a face. We may get the back of a head, maybe. But never are we taking a photo with this man. All right? That's just a mess. Men are just not smart. And I don't know if it's because they're not smart when it comes to cheating, or they just don't care, or they're just careless with it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But why would you take a picture with this girl like this and then have her post it to social media? I don't get that. That's crazy to me.
That there is another woman. Now her friends know, now Instagram knows about Sabrina and Harold. So Gail said when she got home, he was gone, right? She said she thinks he had taken a trip or something. But then he gets home and he tells her, I think you, Gail, need a 3 to 6 month break. So I'm going to go on a trip. I'm going to leave for 3 to 6 months. And I feel like you need a break. She was like, I need a break. He said yes. And she said to add insult to injury. He told her, if you find someone else in that 3 to 6 months, I understand. So at that moment, she was like, this man don't care nothing about me. He don't love me. He don't care nothing about our marriage. He don't care. So I'm filing for divorce. And baby, she's going to be all right. Harold is the financial president at BSI. Whatever BSI is, he is the financial president COO. Our girl Gail is a real housewife.
Okay, I'm sure we're all down this rabbit hole right now about Gail finding her.
Now, wait a minute. Y'all know how TikTok is. The girl started digging into the situation and they saying that this man has committed fraud. But apparently he works at someone in the chat said it's a mortgage company. So I'm like, okay. And you know, that's a mess. But we're about to get into, she's about to break it down because she's saying that it seems like they both may have been committing fraud. So let's get into it real quick.
Husband, Mr. Lewis, cheating with his side piece, Sabrina. Okay, so it's a couple of points that's letting me know that they are going to jail. They're going to jail for fraud, I believe. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know, but the lawyer base, please check me if I'm wrong. But we know that she has a travel agency business, correct? Mm-hmm. How did Gail find Sabrina's name on their American Express credit card statements? You can't send money on American Express, but he could be booking his work trips through her travel agency. For example, what if he's booking a work trip? His ticket is $2,000. Her ticket is $2,000. She is sending him an invoice for $4,000 for one ticket for himself. He puts that on his expense report and being reimbursed by his job. You can't tell me that's not fraud, but there's more. Possibly even tax evasion, because I'm sure he's writing off all of the travel. Okay, now hear me out. Now, what if he has his company even booking they travel through her? Because as a CFO, wouldn't you trust what he says is best for the company and the expenses? And why wouldn't he be putting his girl on? They've been rocking for 2 years. Why wouldn't he be getting her clients? That's a conflict of interest, right? This might be a stretch, but at the very least, he could be laundering that money through Sabrina as a way to send her money through American Express and write it off, hide the money from his wife, or actually start moving his money away from her in general, because he's definitely not leaving his girl. Now, I do have some more ideas, but this is all hypothetical, and we team Gail, and we ain't trying to have him lose his job before she get her alimony.
Hey, cousin.
It's not a reach. I don't think it's a reach. I don't think it's a reach, because I've seen other men in business do that as well. So I don't think it's a reach. No, I don't think it's a reach. But it's only if he was doing that. It's only if he was doing that. You cannot write off a trip as a business trip and it's not a business trip. That's tax fraud. You cannot do that. Now, if he was actually if all of these trips were business trips, right, then it's not tax fraud. But if these trips that he was labeling and writing off, and she was also putting it through her business, most likely writing it off as well as a business expense, that's fraud, y'all. That's why, listen, I got a video too for the PPP loan people. They coming after you too right now. If you was out here and you was saying you had employees and you had to pay employees and you was taking out them PPP loans, they coming after your ass right now. It's sad that people are not educated on what fraud is. That's fraud. So he may be doing some jail time. He may be doing some jail time. It just depends on how they were taking these trips. Okay? Because even she could even go in for fraud too, because if she was saying that this was a client of hers, but then she was taking the trips, and then if she was writing it off as like a tax expense, listen, it sounds like fraud to me. Okay, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like fraud to me. It sounds like both of them could get caught up in a fraud scandal. And then if he was using any of his business credit cards while he was on these trips and stuff like that, but you know what? I got to be honest with you. You know, the palm colored people, they do it all the time and they can get away with it. But when you black, you can't get away with that type of stuff. That's called like money laundering, fraud, tax evasion, you know, all that type of stuff. See, the palm colored people, they can get away with that type of stuff. And I've seen them get away with it. But you black, you can't be out here doing that type of stuff. You cannot be out here doing that type of stuff. So you got to be careful about that. But we're not about to sit up here and make it seem like black people just the only people that be doing it. No, them palm people, they be doing it too. Vacations with the kids, family vacations, all type of stuff. They be out here just having a good old time. But you black, you know better than that. You know we can only do half of what we have. What did our parents tell us? we can't we can't do what they do. We have to be better, right? Because we Black, and that we'll actually be held accountable. They won't be held accountable. Okay. Thank you. That is so sweet. I think I got this top from Shein. I'm pretty sure I got it from Shein a few years back. But yeah, y'all know we can't do that. Now this is where things got a little spicy. This is when I started, giving Gail the side eye, because I'm like, girl, no, Gail, no. So Gail, in the wee hours of the morning, I think this was, I don't know if it was like Saturday or something like that, she decided to upload a part 8. See, the part 8 that you saw was the reposted part 8. This was the original part 8 that she posted and deleted because she was talking about the first wife. She deleted it. We don't have the full video. We only have the intro part of the video, but I have 2 Black women that reacted to the video that she posted in the wee hours of the morning, and they are just reacting to what they saw.
Reverse. All right, y'all. So here we go. So Miss Gail Lewis has come out and gave another part of her story. I guess Miss Sabrina went and kind of spilled the beans on what was going on with Miss Lewis prior to her marriage to Harold Child. So here's the story time, and I don't know if she deleted it off of her TikTok or what happened, but when I went to her page, it wasn't there. So right here, Miss Lewis is saying that pre getting with Mr. Lewis, how he asked for her phone number, he took her on a date, and she found out he was married, and she said she wasn't going to talk to him until you handle your business with your wife, right? So she just told the story about how she told him, you need to get a divorce first and call me when you're divorced. And, I don't know if I'm being here or not, blase. So he kept pursuing her. I think at first he lied and said he had filed for the divorce. But after she found out when they were in New Orleans and his wife was calling that he really didn't, I guess he went and filed for the divorce the week after. Then she felt it was okay to start dating him. So this is a whole other level. This is completely new. This is different. Comment down below and let me know, what do you think about this new addition to the story? Do you still feel the same way about Miss Gail Lewis? Y'all let me know what you think. Bye, cousins.
When you married, he was like, oh, I never told her that I wasn't married, but
Okay, so now we're hearing the truth, the real truth, and this is so important. Gail was the original side chick when she started dating her husband over 20-something years ago. Now that the new side chick has come out and told the story, she's trying to get ahead of it, and she's telling us the full story, which I commend her for getting on and telling the truth. But she's been all over our For You page forever. This past couple of days, telling us this story. Now we're on part 9 or part 8. We always lose them how we find them. And guys, when you are with a narcissist, which I think her husband might be, no matter how long it takes for karma to come back around, you will feel that same pain that the original person felt when you decided to go into a marriage that was not over. Now she is experiencing the same exact loss and pain that his original wife did, but karma can wait 20-something years. You're never safe with a narcissist. And I guarantee he's been cheating throughout these 20-something years, okay? Now, another thing I want to talk about, guys, is that Gail said that she kind of overlooked the red flags of the marriage because she was in depression. Guys, I talk about this all the time. Let's stop dating while we are unhealed and we're vibrating at a lower frequency. Let's take that time to heal, not jump into another relationship, because every single time when we're not at our best and we're out there operating in a place of lack instead of abundance, that is when narcissist walks right into our lives. And because we're vulnerable and we're not healed, we're going to overlook the red flags. And here we are with her 20-something years later. Now she's dealing with what the first wife did, guys.
No. See, I thought it was the side chick too that started this rumor, but no. Gail posted and deleted part 8 where she had it titled First Wife. You have to stay with me, okay? Because I'm like, oh no, the mistress just is saying that, like, it is what it is. Like, the mistress is saying that. Gail posted the first wife video. She posted it and she deleted it. It was titled Part 8, First Wife. Now, if Gail is innocent, why can we not find that video? Because I've looked everywhere. I went to Twitter. I was on TikTok. I'm like, oh my God, I can't find the original video of Part 8. When she had that pink, I don't know if it was a nightgown, pink dress. Like I said, it was in the wee hours of the morning. So we don't know what was said originally. All we can go off of is what these 3, because I have 3 Black women that are reacting to seeing that video when she posted it right before she deleted it. So all we have is the stitches. We don't have the original video. And I also did a time and date check, which I'll get into that here in a sec, because I was like, what?
So the lesson of this story is twofold. Number one, you always lose them how you find them. And secondly, it doesn't matter 20 years, it doesn't matter 30 years. Karma is real, and you will reap what you sow in this life. Okay, guys? Talk to you soon. Bye.
Of course, he starts to wear me down. He's sending gifts and sending me all these little nice sweet things.
Yeah, girl, did you start this morning off with the best part of waking up is tea in your cup? Good Monday morning. Girl, this thing took a whole turn. We was all on your side up until today. We need to hear some other. Baby, did Sabrina go and put your business out there? So now we find out 28 years ago, you was Sabrina. What? Okay, we need to find out what's going on. I need to know what the first wife, we need her perspective. That lady probably ain't got time, because if he's 65, she said at least 60, might be 63, and she ain't gonna do this. She ain't got time for this. But we want to know. Inquiry knows about nosy. No. Okay, because you was her. You was Sabrina. And we want to know how that lady felt. Because you have to put yourself in her position. Okay, but anyway, that's first. Secondly, where's the video where Sabrina told us your business? And don't you think if he wooed you, he wooed her too? See, the difference is he wore you down with flowers and earrings. He wore her down with trips and flights. See, that money got a little bit longer. So the money gets longer, the gifts get bigger. This man got process. Oh, yes, honey. We need inquiry knows and minds want to know. So why not the tea? Baby, Sabrina, come out. First wife, come on. We need all of this. We need it. Miss Lewis, we need it. And I know this ain't got nothing to do with me, but this is the best thing on the internet since Megan and Nikki, honey. I don't want to be bothered with them. I want to know about Gail and Sabrina.
Okay.
So y'all.
Okay, wait. Now, we're gonna get into the mistress here, Sabrina. Okay, Sabrina decides to post. No, not Sabrina. Sabrina decides to respond to someone that messaged her on Facebook. Now, I don't know if it's the woman in this video or if someone sent her the screenshot. I'm not really sure. But Sabrina ended up responding, and she had this to say, which is the mistress. Okay. Now, what she had to say was actually very interesting. And I want you to pay attention to the dates, because that's important. And the part, Gail started talking about the first wife after Sabrina responded and was commenting about how Gail isn't innocent. There's a first wife in the mix and And so that's why Gail started talking about the first wife, because Gail wasn't going to talk about the first wife until someone outed her. And then once she got outed, then she felt the need to explain and talk about the first wife. And it was because Sabrina outed her. So let's get into this, girl, because this is crazy. This was crazy. I was like, girl, I was not expecting this.
I done had a dose of should have been minding my own damn business. That's what I get, getting in other folks' business. So, the other day, Gail called her husband at the airport with Sabrina. So I went to Sabrina's page, honey, and I asked her why she did that, girl. And this is what she had to tell me. Why I was all up in their business, minding the business that don't pay me. But baby, that's what she said now. And
okay, so let me go ahead and read here. It says, I guess my question to you is, she asked her, why would you intentionally cause hurt to another woman? Now, this was sent January the 26th, and I believe that was on Saturday, because I had to look at the dates. I'm like, ooh. No, that was Friday. She sent that Friday, and then Sabrina responded Saturday, January the 27th. So she said, I guess my question to you is, why would you come to my page and ask me that and assume that this Black woman actually did that when that's not really what happened? Let's get all the facts straight. Gail was the one that slept with him while he was with his first wife. Hold on. Let me scroll a little.
Yeah, so why she did that, girl? And this is what she had to tell me. Why I was all up in.
Okay. Then it goes on to say when she was with his first wife, and then the first wife caught them in New Orleans together. So this isn't my story. This is Gail's story. We did not get caught at the airport coming back from Europe together. She ran up on me a week ago. They haven't lived together in over 2 years. Tell her to tell you all of the facts. Tell her to actually play the entire video and why we looked at her like that, because she was screaming at us. Why did I have a smirk? The smirk was because she kept calling my daughters bees and whores in front of everyone at the Sky Lounge. So I didn't go to prison. I had to calm myself and shake my head. That's what happened. And then hold on, let me continue.
They business, minding the business that don't pay me. But baby, that's what she said now.
I need her to scroll a little bit. Okay, and then she went on to say, they haven't lived together in over 2 years. Tell her to tell you all of the facts. Tell her to actually play the entire video and why we looked at her like that, because she was calling her daughters bees and whores in front of everybody at the Sky Lounge. So I didn't go to prison. I had to calm myself and shake my head. That's what happened. She actually followed us onto the plane, and they actually escorted her off the plane. So it was all set up because what she's trying to do is get on Real Housewives of Atlanta. She feels like this is her way to do it. There's parts of the story for you since you're so invested. Now listen, now before I saw this, I saw Candy's video, and I was like, Candy, I'm like, girl, is she about to be on? So this, I don't know what to believe no more. I don't know what to believe anymore. Do I think the story is real? Yes. I think there's different perspectives. At this point, I want to hear from the first wife. And then Candy, she thinks she's slick. See, Candy thinks she's slick. She's a smart businesswoman, but she thinks she's slick. She decided to put out that TikTok video with Gail to try to get ahead of the Mistress, basically outing her about wanting to be on Atlanta Housewives. Girl, it is a mess. I was not expecting all of this. I'm like, what did I get invested in? So let me show you what I'm talking about. And then I'll make sure to include all the girls that are in this video, all content creators. I'll make sure to link your TikTok after I save this video. Oh, wait.
Story time. So yesterday, I was with my daughters, Riley and Caleb, and they was like, did you see that story going viral on TikTok about the lady who got her husband at the airport? I said, that sounds familiar, but I don't know. You know why? I didn't know my homegirl had got on live and told her story, and now it's viral.
It's life, though. Hey, it's life. You gotta keep living. So it's life.
I'm gonna have to get you on speak on it now. How are you doing though? Tell people currently, how are you?
I'm good. I'm getting stronger every day. It's been tough. No one ever wants to go through this, but I've had a lot of support and from my family, from my friends, and like I said at the very beginning, it's not something that I'm really comfortable sharing, but I just don't think we're
I have a question. Can y'all hear her? Or can we skip past this girl? Because I had a hard time hearing her. Okay, I had a hard time hearing her. That's what it's giving storyline. Do you hear me? Because at this point, we don't gotta follow her. we don't gotta follow her on TikTok. I don't know what to think anymore. Skip it. Okay, so just so you know, they know each other, but it's really hard to hear what she's saying in this video because they're out and it's loud in the background. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip it. Okay, because really they're just talking about how they know each other and everything like that, and then she's just asking her how she's doing. So basically, I just feel like this is all a setup for her to get on the show. That's what I think. Because I'm like, girl, what? I don't even watch Atlanta Housewives, but I'm like, I may have to tap in. Okay, so she does a follow-up. Y'all know how I am. I feel like people have the right to defend themselves. So she's seeing, the commentary around, her not being the first mistress, Sabrina being the first mistress, how she was the original mistress to the first wife when he was married originally. So let's just get into this. She starts responding, talks about that. Basically, she's responding to the mistress and what the mistress has been putting out here on social media. So let's continue.
I posted a lengthy and detailed video stating that today was my 28th wedding anniversary, and I was giving some details about how I met my husband. And I told you all earlier that, you know, we're going through this process right now. I can't share too much of it, but I would share everything once we kind of get through. I feel the need to address this. I really shouldn't have to, but I want to. So I ain't nobody's victim, and I ain't having nobody's pity party. So my original post was about me seeing him and her for the first time in the airport. I admitted that I was shocked. I was. And the video was only about 7 seconds where I said, have a good flight. I think I said, hey, Harold, have a good flight. And I walked on off, right? And I turned the video off after that. And then I said something like, you know, that's his mistress. He's my husband. I'm the wife. And I went on back to where I was sitting in the Sky Club and said anything else. So I guess she's saying something about when we got to the gateway to get on the plane. Yeah, I said some things to him, but he's my husband, so I can say whatever I want to say to him. And it's just like kicking in the trash can. You kick it in the trash, may get over on you too. So she might have caught some flack, but that's just part of the course when you do this kind of stuff. And well, it wasn't too much I could do anyway, because I had filed for divorce the year earlier. I filed for divorce in December of 22. So wasn't anything I really could do, guys, but other than doing what I did do. And then I kept it moving. But let me tell you something. Me and this girl are not the same person. When she met my husband, she knew he was married. She actually encouraged him to leave me. She was doing really disrespectful shit. She came to my Spelman Morehouse homecoming and sat under my tent and saw me sitting right there beside him and knew he was married. And we were all having a good time. There was no animosity that day. We were all having a good time. So as far as I'm concerned, she came around my family uninvited. Actually, he might have invited her, but she knew what the deal was. You know, then she had the nerve to post that clip of Sunshine from Harlem Nights the day that I found out everything. Yeah, because I went on one of her pictures and kind of said a few things.
So I'm a little confused. So you knew about her prior to you finding out about the Europe trip? That's what I'm confused on. Yes, she filed it. She's saying December of 2022, but she found out about him cheating in October of 2022. That's what I'm, because I'm like, so this woman been around you this whole time and you didn't know about her? Like, you didn't know about the dealings that she had with your husband? I'm confused on that. See, I'm very confused.
And then she posted that video just kind of trying to taunt me. So I'm like, so you're going to taunt me and gloat after I find out that you've been with my husband? So, you know, I'm like, So like I said, I don't owe anyone an explanation, but I'm keeping it 100. So I ain't judging him. I ain't judging her. But at the same time, she and I ain't the same. And this is not about her. This is all about him and his lies, his deception and all of that. So before you all get to start going to judge me and start talking about his karma and all that, it could be, but it is what it is. So, I mean, I got to live with it. You know, I'm going to be accountable for 100% of all my shit. So.
Okay. So Winnie is saying, no, she said that Sabrina been around, but she didn't know. Okay. So she didn't know of their relationship at that time, but Sabrina did know about her. Okay. Thank you for that. Because I'm like, what?
So, but I'll say before you all start throwing stones and want to judge somebody, you know, you need to hear the whole story. So, you know, every woman he's ever been with has been deceived and lied to. But I'll give you the story about how he and I met and what the situation was. Stand by. Hey, y'all, I'm going to address this part about the start of my relationship with my husband, and I'm going to be done. And you can say what you want to say, do what you want to do. I mean, it is what it is. And that was almost 30 years ago. But when I was introduced to him, I was told he was not married. I only found out later that he was. So I told him then that I did not deal with married men and that I didn't want to do anything to some other woman that I didn't want done to me. And I meant that. And I still hold to that. So, of course, he gave me the stand that, you know, we've been having problems and all that kind of stuff. And whenever I would talk to him, I would tell him he would try to be hitting on me, but I would knock it right down because I wasn't attracted to him. My husband was overweight, morbidly obese, actually. But he was a nice guy. But when I would talk to him, I would encourage him to stay with his wife and kids. And I thought he thought that was the oddest thing, but that's what I would do. I would encourage him because I didn't like him like that. And I was like, you're married, so this ain't going anywhere anyway. So he kept asking me, like, you know, like, what if I was divorced? Because she and I having problems and all that. And I was like, well, if that's the case, you need to get your problem handled. So I can't even think about ever even dating you or doing any of that because you're still married. So lo and behold, he tells me that he's going to divorce her. He started his process and that, you know, he wanted me to be his girl and all that kind of stuff. Actually gave me some diamond earrings to let me know. He was like, this is to let you know that I'm super duper serious about this thing. So I was like, well, okay then, because during this whole time, we had no intimate relationship, any of that for like 3 months. Because actually I was calling him Al Bundy. And he didn't even know why I was calling him that. Because he was like, why you always call me Al Bundy? And I was like, because you married with children and I don't mess with Al Bundy. So whatever, right? So once he started his divorce proceedings, he asked me would I date him. So I did. So there may be some fault there where I started dating him before his actual divorce was final. But I made sure that he had filed divorce because that's what he told me. So
any wives in the chat, do y'all feel like this is appropriate? Do y'all feel like this was appropriate? Because I don't feel like it's appropriate at all. You shouldn't accept anything from a married man. once you know he's married, if you accept anything from a married man, he feels like he has a chance. Okay? He feels like he has a chance with you when you do that. And if you really want him to work things out with his wife, you wouldn't accept anything from him. You wouldn't even entertain him. You wouldn't entertain having a friendship with him at all, because he messed up as a married man and approached you. He approached you knowing that he was married, and he approached you with the intent to move forward in a sexual, intimate, romantic relationship with you. So I don't know. Because once I find out a man is married, block. It's a block. It's a block. Once I find out, because men lie, we can all admit that they lie, and they put on a really good front. But once you know, that's when the karma come back on you. Once you know and you continue to move forward, that's how it comes back on you. When you don't know, you don't know. But when you do know, girl, you better get up out of there quick. Yeah, she knew. She knew. Man, this is a mess.
So we did take a trip to the Essence Music Festival the first year, and a phone call came in, and I'm assuming that it was his wife, but the way he responded to the call let me know that, basically something was up and that he probably had lied to me. So when we get off the phone, I was like, I thought you filed for divorce. Like, why was that conversation going that way? He didn't really have too much to say, but he was like, well, no, I talked about it, but I was going to file. I'm still going to reach out and file when I get back and all that kind of stuff. So of course I was furious, because I was like, you've lied to me. Like, why would you, tell a lie like that? The only reason I came with you on this trip was because you told me you had filed and all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking everything kosher with them, and that I didn't have anything to do with that. Because he told me in the beginning, like, no, she and I having issues. And if I file for divorce, it has absolutely nothing to do with you. So I was like, well, okay then. So like I said, I wasn't attracted to him at first. But he was a really nice guy, really nice guy. He's a professional guy, was president of a company and all that kind of stuff. But I had my own thing. I was working. I was a single mom doing my own little thing. So I didn't really need him for anything. But the only thing that I'll say about that was, I did start dating him after he filed for divorce. And I think from the time I met him to the time he divorced was like a 10-month span. So those first 3 months, I didn't say anything to him like romantically, because I was not attracted to him. And that is for real. If you see the picture of him before, you'll know why, but he was a nice guy. So I'm just saying. I'll say that, maybe me dating him before the divorce was final was wrong. And I'll take accountability for that, but I can't go back, 30 years now and correct that. I'm just trying to move forward and do what's right. But, Miss Thang is trying to like paint this narrative like, oh, she was doing the same thing. Not the same thing at all, because my whole time I was encouraging him to stay with his people. She did not. I have the text messages between them from the day they met to, all the things that he was telling her, the things she was telling him, and telling him that she didn't have anything and that she left her family with just the clothes on her back, and, just this little sob story for him. So I guess he went with it. But like I said, this was originally about me posting a video of me seeing them for the first time in the airport. So I ain't judging her. I ain't gonna judge him. Like I said, I'm not, but it ain't like I willfully went out and decided like I'm gonna go and destroy his family. It was nothing like that. So
but how he wasn't telling her the same thing though? Y'all, I'm gonna let y'all handle it. I'm not gonna, because he could be lying and telling Sabrina the same thing, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna leave her. I'm not happy in the marriage. But I don't know. He could have been lying and saying, or he could have been lying and telling her something. Oh, my wife, she cool with it. Like, she know about you. Who knows? I don't know. Y'all, this is a mess. And I was feeling so bad for this. I was feeling so bad that she was in this situation. But now I'm like, I want to hear from the first wife. What the first wife got to say? Because I watched First Wives Club, the movie. And, I'm always going to side with the first wife. And I thought she was the first wife. But apparently she's not the first wife. So I'm like, oh, my God, this is a mess. I want to talk to the first wife. Is she going to log in and give us an update? Give her perspective, because I want to know what she got to say.
a lot of us were deceived. A whole bunch of us were deceived. So that is what he has done. That's what he continues to do. So, you know, I'm gonna let it be what it is. And like I said, once we get further down the road in this process, I can share some things. I don't know how to share the receipts on here. I thought you could only do videos. So anybody that knows how you can post pictures and all of that of the text messages, I'll show you that I ain't got no lie to tell. And the whole time, I never talked to my husband's former wife. You know, the only conversation we ever had was when she would bring the kids over and stuff like that. But she never said anything to me about me being the cause. But I did find this out, that after she found out that he and I was breaking up, she told someone that she was like, oh, she finally found out after all these years. Like, she finally found out who he really is. You know, because I think I mentioned in the early video about him telling me about how she was not having any kind of intimate relationship with him. And he thought it was because she was depressed and, you know, had some postpartum and all of that. Turns out, word got back to me. She was like, I wasn't depressed, or I didn't have postpartum either. It was because I was tired of being in the doctor's office because he kept giving me stuff. So, you know, I'm gonna just leave it there, guys. And like I said, once all this is over, I'll come back and give you plenty of details. So old girl can keep telling all the stories she wants, but you know, they hanging, they doing their thing. I just got a message from a woman this morning who saw them out in Dallas last night at True Lux and said, you know, old girl got pregnant by her husband some years ago while she lived in California. So she was like, she's all about the money. So, and she is. And I'm telling you, y'all, yeah, I've lived a privileged life, but I've earned everything I've got here in this household. When he was sick, when he was doing all his other stuff, and he had to get shit wiped off of him, she wasn't here. I was wiping shit, cleaning up vomit, and all the things that a wife would do. So for that, for better or worse, yeah, I stuck in between all of that. So like I said, I'm gonna end this right here. You can say what you want, judge how you want, but it's all good. I'm gonna be good in the end. I was just sharing and hoping that my story would empower someone else to not be embarrassed, to stand up on your own, you know, but it is what it is, and I'm living for today. Hope y'all have a good one.
Okay, so I don't know if this is Sabrina. I don't know if this is the first wife. But when I got on TikTok from an unknown TikTok account, someone posted this and said, I am Arnold's wife. Gail Lewis is a liar. She was sneaking around with my husband when she knew I was going through postpartum. And she was also sleeping with him. That's why he would come home tired. So I don't know. I guess we just gonna have to stay tuned on the next episode of this woman bumping into her husband at the Atlanta airport, and he would his mistress. I don't know. Mm-hmm. That's when I'm like, is the first wife gonna log in? Because girl, we need to know. We need to know what's the situation, because yeah, I don't know. Now, this could be Sabrina. Sabrina could have logged on to TikTok and made TikTok and created this fake account to put this up to get people riled up. She could have. Or it could be someone that knows the first wife that decided to make this account and upload this message. But I find it interesting because I looked at the timestamps. This was posted before her last part that she just made. This video, if you go to TikTok, you'll see that this was up first, and then Gail responded to that. So one thing that I've been noticing about Gail is every time information is brought out that kind of debunks, you know, some of the things that she's saying, she'll go and she'll make a response video to the things that are like kind of floating around and stuff like that. So I don't know what to think anymore. I don't know what to think. She would be a great addition to, you know, Housewives of Atlanta, because at this point, this is a lot. I would be entertained if I was to watch the show. So I don't know. Yeah, the message looks weird. It looks weird, but I do find it interesting that with the messages that Sabrina is putting out, if this is her from this fake account, she always feels the need to explain. And honestly, at this point, I would just like to hear from the first wife myself to see what the situation really is. But yeah, that's all that I have regarding this video. Comment down below. Like, do you think that she isn't Sabrina? Like she's different? Because that's the thing, is she wants to separate herself from Sabrina, but I don't know. The rumor now is that she is Sabrina. She's you know, she was the first wife, Sabrina, and now Sabrina is Sabrina. So I don't know. Y'all comment down below. Let me know what you think about the situation. But this situation was crazy. I watched it, I think, Saturday morning, and I've been invested ever since. Y'all enjoy the rest of your night, and I hope to see you in my next one.